Welcome back to Dear Harry Season 1, Episode 5, Bleachers and Best Work. Today we're diving into the hilarious and heartfelt world of relationships. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of first date jitters, clashing personalities, and some seriously epic bleacher moments. We're talking hockey moms, river plunges, and the art of the well-timed cat face. So grab your favorite beverage and join us as we explore the ups, downs, and downright ridiculousness of love, life, and everything in between. Sit back and let's get real.
Welcome back to Dear Harry, Bleachers and Best Work. I'm Meg.
And I'm Fin.
And we are thrilled you've joined us for Season 1, Episode 5.
Today we're diving into the wild world of relationships, the ups, the downs, the hilarious mishaps, inspired by a fantastic blog post from our friend Clara.
Buckle up, Buttercup, because Clara's story is a roller coaster. She shares her journey with her partner, Tate, and it's full of unexpected twists and turns, awkward moments, and laugh-out-loud anecdotes.
Exactly. We're talking first date jitters, clashing personalities, and some serious bleacher action.
So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's get into it. Okay, so picture this. Clara's first date with Tate. A cozy pub, a glass of wine, a cute little alleyway setting. Sounds romantic, right?
Totally. But knowing Clara, I bet there was a twist.
You know it. She almost didn't show up. But thankfully, she did. And the conversation flowed like wine. Or maybe like a lively debate.
Haha, I can imagine. So what were the first impressions like?
Well, they hit it off, surprisingly. Lots in common, lots not in common. The perfect recipe for a good story. Both parents, both love sports. But here's where it gets interesting.
Lay it on me.
Clara's a diehard hockey, football, and soccer mom, braving the cold arenas, rain or shine. Tate, on the other hand, indoor sports, fair weather only, please. He made it known to Clara that he doesn't intentionally go golfing in the rain, nor mow his lawn in the rain.
Oh dear, polar opposites.
Totally. She's all no bad weather, just bad dress. And he's probably hiding under a blanket at the first sign of a drizzle.
I can hear the future tug-of-war conversations now.
Right? But somehow it works. She even jokes, a perfect match? I guess we'll have to see how that unfolds. So their relationship progresses, and now Tate's being dragged to these freezing cold hockey rinks. Can you imagine? This guy who avoids rain like the plague is now bundled up, shivering next to Clara, watching her kids play hockey and football.
That's hilarious. The irony is just too good. I bet he learned a thing or two about layering and has warm, fond memories of indoor basketball and soccer with his own kids who are now in their early 20s.
Oh, he definitely did. And not just about layering, he also had to learn the difference between the two local arenas. Which one was colder, which one had the better hot chocolate, the important stuff.
The essentials. I can picture him now, trying to blend in with the hockey moms, looking completely bewildered.
Totally. And then there's Clara's mom. The biggest sports fan, the loudest cheerleader. Imagine sitting next to that for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole other level of entertainment. Earmuffs required.
Exactly. Clara describes it as a humorous and deafening experience. Poor Tate. But hey, he adapted. He even started to appreciate the passion, I think.
That's sweet. It's good he's willing to try new things for her.
It is. And speaking of trying new things, or maybe not so new things for Clara, there's this story about a blustery walk, freezing temperatures, and a river.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of this.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for Tate. He slips on some icy rocks and takes a plunge. Right into the river.
No way, is he okay?
He's fine, thankfully. Just a little bruised and very, very wet. But it did teach him a valuable lesson about proper winter attire. Merino wool became his new best friend.
He learned the hard way.
He did. They even called him Riverdog for a while after that. It's a good story, though. A reminder that even the most carefully planned walks can take an unexpected turn. Okay, so moving on from the Riverdog incident, Clara's blog takes a bit of a turn. She starts talking about communication styles, specifically between men and women.
Interesting. This is always a tricky topic.
It is. She talks about how men seem to be able to speak their minds freely, about anything, in any setting. But when women do the same, they're often labeled as controlling, abusive, or bitchy.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's like there's a double standard.
Exactly. And Clara has always been a strong advocate for changing that. She believes women should have the same freedom to express themselves without being judged or labeled.
Good for her. It's important to speak up about these things.
Absolutely. And this is where Tate comes in. He apparently told Clara early on that he valued strong, confident women.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It is, but he was also often taken off guard by Clara's directness. She admits that she sometimes forgets to filter what comes out of her mouth.
I can relate to that. Sometimes honesty can be a little too honest.
Exactly. And it seems like Tate had to adjust to Clara often saying out loud what others are often thinking, but not necessarily saying. But I think it's also what he admired about her. She was genuine. She was real.
It sounds like they balance each other out in a way. He appreciates her strength, and she challenges him to be more open.
Precisely. And it's clear that their communication styles, while different, haven't been a deal breaker. They've learned to navigate those differences, and it's actually strengthened their bond. Okay, so picture this. A university basketball game. Tate, Clara, his ex-wife, her partner, and the daughter's girlfriend are all sitting in the top row of the bleachers. Suddenly, someone's phone slips and tumbles down under the bleachers.
Oh no, that's always a pain.
Right? So, Clara, being the ever-helpful and slightly restless person she is, jumps up and offers to retrieve the phone. Now remember, Clara's not exactly a fan of sitting still.
We've established that. No bad weather, just bad dress. She's always on the move.
Exactly. So, she navigates her way under the bleachers, finds the phone, and scrambles back up the steep stairs. As she hands the phone back, completely without thinking, she says, "No problem, I do my best work under the bleachers."
Oh my gosh, I can just imagine the looks on everyone's faces.
It's priceless. The ex-wife and her partner are gobsmacked. They laugh and said, "Oh my, it's not every day your ex's new partner shares such a unique anecdote."
That's definitely an icebreaker.
Totally. But everyone laughs, and it actually becomes this bonding moment. Apparently, Clara and Tate's ex-wife have a great relationship. They do things together, trade recipes, go on walks.
Wow, that's amazing. Not your typical ex-wife scenario.
I know, right? It's a testament to their maturity and respect for each other. They've created a positive dynamic, even beyond the romantic relationships.
That's really special. It sounds like they've all found a way to move forward and create something healthy and supportive.
Absolutely. It just goes to show you that things don't always have to be awkward or difficult. Sometimes you can find unexpected connections and build something positive, even in unconventional situations. That whole bleacher incident really got me thinking about how we handle relationships, especially the ones that end. Claire's reflections on this are so insightful.
Yeah, she talks about how sometimes people just grow and change, and that you can't force someone to be who they're not anymore.
Exactly. And sometimes things happen that can't be fixed, no matter how hard you try. It's tough because you might feel like you've failed or that you've let your kids down.
Absolutely. There's so much pressure, especially with social media constantly showing these perfect relationships and families. It's easy to get caught up in the comparison game.
And everyone has advice, right? If only you did this. Or you should have tried that. It's like everyone's an expert on your life.
Totally. It can be overwhelming, especially when you're already feeling vulnerable and raw. It's important to remember that every relationship is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right. Clara makes a good point about the grief of letting go, not just of the relationship itself, but also of the future you envisioned. It's a process, and it takes time to heal and move forward.
Definitely. But she also highlights the importance of learning from those experiences and using them to grow and become a better version of yourself.
Exactly. She talks about how refreshing it is to approach midlife with more experience and awareness, and how new friendships can be so valuable during times of transition.
I love that. It's like she's saying, okay, that chapter is closed, but there are so many new possibilities and connections waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. And sometimes, moving on is the hardest but healthiest choice you can make. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. Speaking of authentic, let's talk about Clara's verbal warrior tendencies. She doesn't hold back.
Oh no, she definitely does not. She's a straight shooter, that's for sure. Remember that line about her teacher saying if her pencil moved as fast as her mouth, she'd be successful? I laughed out loud at that.
Me too. I can totally relate to that. Sometimes I think before I speak, and sometimes not so much.
It's refreshing though, isn't it? In a world where everyone seems to be carefully curating their image and words, it's nice to encounter someone who's just unapologetically themselves.
Absolutely. And she owns it. She even calls herself a verbal warrior.
Which, let's be honest, can lead to some pretty hilarious situations, like the cat face incident in her university class. I mean, who gets kicked out of class for making a cat face out of paper, wearing it as a mask, then sticking their tongue through it?
Only Clara, but she tells that story with such pride, and it's endearing.
It is. It shows that she hasn't lost her sense of playfulness and that she's not afraid to be a little silly, even as an adult.
Exactly. And she embraces those moments, like reenacting the story for her kids while camping. Even though they were mortified, she was having a blast.
Classic Clara. But even with her outspoken nature, she also acknowledges the importance of choosing your battles. She mentions the lesson she learned as a child. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Right, but she also adds, but sometimes things should be said. It's about finding that balance, isn't it? Knowing when to speak up and when to hold back.
Exactly. And I think that's something we can all learn from. It's about being true to yourself while also being mindful of the impact your words have on others.
So, wrapping up this delightful dive into Clara's world, what are your key takeaways, Finn?
Well, for me, it's a reminder that relationships are complex, messy, and often hilarious. Clara and Tate's story is a testament to the fact that opposites can attract, and that even with differences, you can build a strong, loving bond.
Absolutely. I love how they've navigated those differences, from their contrasting views on sports and the outdoors to their communication styles. It's all about finding a balance, respecting each other's perspectives, and embracing the humor in those everyday moments.
And speaking of humor, Clara's story is a reminder that life is too short to take yourself too seriously. Embrace the silliness, the verbal warrior within, and don't be afraid to laugh at yourself.
Couldn't agree more. And let's not forget the importance of resilience. Life throws curveballs, relationships evolve, and sometimes things don't work out. But Clara's story shows us that it's okay to move forward, learn from the past, and find joy in new beginnings.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the journey, with all its twists and turns, and finding the humor in the unexpected.
Well said, Finn. Thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode of Dear Harry, Bleachers, and Best Work. We hope you enjoyed Clara's story as much as we did.
And remember, whether you're retrieving lost phones under the bleachers or navigating the complexities of relationships, embrace the chaos, and don't forget to laugh along the way.
Until next time, take care and keep those conversations flowing.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Dear Harry, Bleachers, and Best Work. We hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did. If you liked this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a review. And don't forget to tune in next week for another dose of laughter, love, and a whole lot of heart. Until then, keep those conversations flowing, and remember, even the messiest relationships can lead to the most beautiful stories. See you next time.